I opened a vault in Borderlands 4. Back in May, 2K flew me out to Sydney to play the game early, and while I was there, I got to play around with the opening moments of the game seen here in my early review, but I also got to open a vault and fight a brand new boss as a level 20 character. So, what's going on? I'm Cashew, and this is one of the many vaults in Borderlands 4. If you find yourself coming around here more often than not, I'd appreciate any sort of subscription you can throw my way. But with all that being said, let's get into it. And for complete transparency, this video is not sponsored by 2K in any way, shape, or form. So, since in the previous play session of the game I played as Rafa, I decided for the vault mission I'd give Vex a go. The character I was given was spec'd down the 4th seal tree, getting to the middle branch, meaning that I was going to be using a Spectre build for my time here. I got going, and while I was looking at the gun vendor, I noticed something that I didn't before.
I almost forgotten what Joy felt like.
Zane is the new gun vendor? That's pretty cool. Getting to the mission at large though, I hopped on the pre-sequel coded jump pad and got into the fight. On this character, nearly every gun that I had a large amount of licensed parts on it, so there was a big variety with what I was getting. I'll tell you, nothing feels as weird as throwing a Jacob shotgun like a Tedior. You expect your gun to do one thing, then it just does something else. It's pretty cool, but I will say it was quite disorientating a few times when I was just trying to work out what gun I wanted to use in a specific situation. The vault mission at large was a big combat challenge with multiple areas filled with waves of enemies to fight. Something that I was not expecting at all was the fact that my favorite gun I used by far was an auto pistol. I was never a fan of charge weapons in Borderlands 3, but the large amount of damage the auto weapons I found had made them super fun to use for me personally. After clearing out the first area, I was confronted by the Watching Gee, who is the Watcher? Like, maybe? I think so. They literally say, "Call me Watcher," and the lore implications have me super excited. They talk to us throughout the vault mission and sort of remind me of the Guardian guy from the Trials in Borderlands 3.
Interesting. I have estimated you well. Call me Guardian. Call me Watcher. Call me the cold air on your neck. I am many things beyond what I was created for. Not like the progeny waiting for you here.
I get to fighting in the next area and start trying out some more new weapons. I found out the auto pistol that I was loving also had a gravity well as its alt fire mode, which was pretty sick. At this point, I was getting more used to the Reapers and Spectres as the action skill, but I never found the Spectres to be as good as the Reapers. The Spectres do have more health and are good at drawing aggro away, but the trade-off from the Reapers' much more superior damage was just really not that worth it to me the more I played. Also, Vex's Vault Hunter trait is something that I kept forgetting about, where your action skill will be the element of your currently equipped gun. I found it a bit disorienting to swap to the right element for the Spectres, then swap back to the gun I actually wanted to use, though I do think this is something you'll get better at over time, but since I only had like an hour of playing Vex in total, I never truly got the hang of it. We then get more audio from the Watching Gee.
Guardian. A mistranslation. A noun implying a verb, implying no other verbs. One may watch without merely watching.
I found some more gear and stuff throughout the fight, so I went to try it out in the next area, which was probably the best part of the vault for me. There was a lot of chances to move around, and the very vertical gameplay of Borderlands 4 really got to shine here. There was a jump pad in the center, which was always good for an escape or reposition, and the overall area encouraged a lot of movement. One of the new pieces of gear I picked up was a gravity well trap that activated if an enemy stepped on it. So what I ended up doing was setting the traps in front of enemies, then when one of the gravity wells triggered, I would surround it with Reapers from my action skill and just watch their health melt away. It was really fun coming up with these strategies on the fly. I used a bunch of other weapons too, like there was a Torg sticky daedalus sniper and shotgun, which was not really that good, a Tedior Chuck Malawan, a regular Torg shotgun that's impact shots were just like crazy good, and a bunch of others. At the end of a few of the many waves of enemies, the Perturbalin spawned, who had a chromatic modifier. He couldn't be hurt by regular means until he released his chrome barrier to attack you with it. Once at that point, you can either attack him directly or destroy the chromatic fragments called Vile Ordnite, so that he doesn't go back into the previous form. But I say all this in retrospect, actually in game I had no idea what was going on. I eventually decided that I just couldn't figure it out and just kept constantly attacking him anyways, which eventually did get me the kill kill. And even now, looking back at the footage, I'm only like 70% sure that's how you beat him. He can change his element, and he can still have the Ordinite around him even while he still has a broken shield. Also, exactly one time I hit him with melee, and that damaged the chrome shield, but that strat never worked again. I'm sure someone in the comments can figure out how this fight actually works, because I am pretty much stumped on how you actually beat him. But beating him was the last of the mobbing challenges for the Vault, and the Watching Gi comes back with some more cryptic dialogue.
There is still one more test before the vault is defeated. What use is a guardian? Nothing much if it doesn't follow orders. This one tried so very hard. Cast away, nonetheless. It is always the created that pays for the mistakes of the creator.
This leads into the last thing the Vault has to offer, Inceptus. That's right, we got a Vault monster in here too, and let me just say, this fight kicked my ass. I could blame it on the spec, I could blame it on the gear, but I know at least a few of the deaths were because I just didn't understand what the hell I was doing. The gimmick of Inceptus is that you use your grappling hook to pull certain parts of his body off, revealing their crit spots. After dealing enough damage to the shield, Inceptus will climb onto the ceiling and go into a cocoon. When this happens, the floor will begin to be filled with a damage over time pool, and hanging pods will be suspended from the roof. You can grapple onto these pods, but only have a short time to stand on them before they fall. Me though, I didn't know this. I thought they were just grapple points. I didn't know you could stand on them at all, so I would just like keep on grappling them and try and like stay suspended in the air with the glide, trying to shoot them at the same time, which just was not really working. I thought they were just grapple points. I didn't know you could stand on them, so I would just instinctually double jump before the game put me in the right spot, and then I made the fight way harder than it needed to be. Once I realized what I was actually supposed to do though, it was really fun. He has a lot of health though. The fight did feel quite challenging, but Inceptus went into the cocoon a little too often for my liking. Mainly because he gets a bonus small health bar you have to drain before you can damage them again normally. He also would fire a volley of homing spores that really let you get good use out of the quick air dodge. It feels so satisfying when you pull off a tight move with it. The fight got considerably easier once his shield went down, since I had both a good radiation gun, where I could pass that element onto my Reapers, plus the augment I had equipped was Hellish Harvest, which gave those Reapers an extra powerful move that heals them every 3 hits. With that, I defeated the Vault monster and used the grappling hook to teleport to my reward, which was a glide pack upgrade. This one gave it faster regen, but I think the other Vaults will have other upgrades too, like a large capacity or a slower fuel consumption type thing. Upon returning to the starting area, I could see Mad Moxie's big Encore machine that would respawn Inceptus, meaning that you can farm his dedicated drop known as the Husky right from the Vault entrance. And that was the Vault. Honestly, a pretty fun mission that is seemingly optional? Because to unlock it, you have to find a bunch of fragments in the overworld, and it didn't really seem story related at all. But while that was everything I did in the Vault as Vex, I went back there again as Rava, and almost immediately I was incredibly happy with that choice, as I am the proud owner of the first ever legendary drop in Borderlands 4. I know that my session was before all the Americans in other countries, but there was one morning session before mine, so I'm not too sure, but until I'm corrected, the first person to ever get a legendary in Borderlands 4. Now this whole series of events is kind of a mixed bag, because I got the legendary as a world drop from a vendor. The legendary was the Whiskey Foxtrot, which has since ditched the Tango from its name, and instead of being a dull shield, it is now a Vladoff assault rifle. One of the game devs saw me get it and was pretty excited. I asked them if the world drops were still as common as BL3, especially from vendors, and they reassured me that I just got really lucky. That'll remain to be seen, but for now the gun itself, it seems that legendary guns do not have licensed parts, at least not from the ones found in the early access demo. The Whiskey Foxtrot is a burst fire assault rifle that does pretty decent damage and has an alt fire called Overdrive that turns the gun into a full auto machine, and it is so fun. It's the kind of thing that synergizes super well with one of Rafa's early augments in the Remote Agents tree, Bullet Buddy Deluxe, that gives you infinite ammo for a bit. Overall, it looks good, plays good, and was pretty bad against Inceptus, but I think that's mainly a spec thing. But that was everything in the Vault. If you have any questions about it at all, please don't hesitate to leave a comment, as I'm usually pretty quick with a response. But thank you so much for watching, and let's do the channel member shoutouts. My Gold and Macadamia members are J Nate, who sent a letter in a bottle bottle down the stream in hopes that the person that needed it most would receive it. Mayonnaise, who developed a toxin that is poisonous to only humans with crab DNA. Ooh. Ian Crawford, who received their master's degree from Atlantis University. Oh, no, that says Atlanta University. That's a lot less magical. Nevertheless Raven, who can communicate to specifically seagulls, and it's a good thing we found out when we did, because those guys have been planning a hostile takeover for years. Shooter, who hired a lawyer to help them argue the 1 billion lions versus every Pokemon debate, and they still lost. Lions win every time. Rosie Thorns, who brings the best vibes to the function, has a pet raccoon, and can do a sitting backflip. This is just their resume, isn't it? 17 Eli 187, who always finds a way to get out of every situation, even the good ones. The answer is to usually just jump out a window when any person comes remotely near you. Ari the Dragon, who meditated with the humongous gorillas of the Scorched Valley. Killer band, by the way. JBH, who can tell the time by looking at someone's shadow for about an hour, so it's not actually accurate, but they can do it. Wesker 520, who found a message in a bottle and it had some absolutely horrific shit in there. Like, I refuse to repeat it. Whoever wrote that has got to be insane. Angel B, who rode a golden horse to work. We're all pretty sure it's a statue since no one's seen it move, but every time you look away from it, it does get closer. Chimpy Scrimpy, who got the message in a bottle from JBH and they just need some spare cash. Guy was running low that week, but he's fine now. And Medieval Rancher, who was actually the one behind legends Bass Reeves, Buster Scruggs, and Cowboy Steve-O. And my other nut tier members, Tryptophan, Koi Cadaver, Mr. TX01, Whammo, Revenge Viper, Jacob Rodriguez, and Lucas Fakurka. Thank you all so much for any amount of support you give me, and if you want to join the legends who are just on screen, you can by hitting the join button below the video. But thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.